Hey gang, welcome back to the Joy of Wrenching. I am your friendly neighborhood mechanic, and today in the shop we've got a 2013 Nissan Armada. Same thing as the Infinity QX80. And it makes a really weird roaring sound while it's going down the road, something like this. And the noise gets louder the faster we go. If you know, you know, but it's a wheel bearing. And I want to show you guys today how to diagnose which wheel bearing it is, and then also show you how fast, easy it can be, and fun. Show you how fun it can be to replace that wheel bearing. And I'm going to use a little tool here that our friends at the doctor's office use, and I'll show you how. Because really, when you're working on cars, it's kind of like you're a doctor for cars. So come along and let's have some fun together. So we think we have a bad wheel bearing. One of these rascals is making a god-awful noise, and we're gonna go and figure out which one it is. Now, there's a few different ways to figure out which wheel bearing it is, and I wanna show you first what it sounds like on the road. So come along and take a listen to this. All right, so we're gonna go out on our closed course here, and we're gonna see just what we hear. All right, I'm starting to hear a little bit of noise. Kind of a roaring sound, and it kind of sounds like it's coming from the front, and then it kind of sounds like it's coming from the back, but it's definitely coming from the right side of the vehicle. Now, one of the things you might wonder is, how do I know it's the wheel bearing and not the transmission or something like that? Well, let me show you. If we go like this, see that noise goes away. Louder when we turn right, goes away when we turn left. So that tells you that it's one side or the other of the vehicle that's making that noise. Okay, so you heard what that wheel bearing sounds like, and we could pinpoint that it's on the right side of the vehicle, which is the passenger side. But I couldn't tell if it was the front or the back. So that's what we're going to try and figure out next. And so there's a few different ways to do this, and I want to show you a couple of them. Now, if the wheel bearing is bad enough, you can grab the tire like this and you can wiggle it side to side, and if there's any play in it, it goes clickety-clack, clickety-clack, and then you grab it at 12 and 6 and do the same, and it goes clickety-clack, clickety-clack. It's loose in all directions, then chances are that's a bad wheel bearing. Now, if it's just loose like this, it could be some suspension or some steering components, but if it's loose in whichever way you grab it, then that's probably the bad wheel bearing. Another way that we can tell which one of the wheel bearings is bad is you can just sometimes hear that crazy noise on the inside of that wheel bearing as you turn the wheel. But sometimes that noise just isn't that loud. And so what you can do is you can grab hold of the spring up on top while you turn that wheel. And if it's crunchy inside of those bearings, it'll get translated through that spring, and you'll feel it in your hand up here touching that spring. So there's another tip for you. Let me show you another way that we can tell which wheel bearing it is. Let's come underneath the car here. All right, ooh, it's a little spooky and dark down here, but hopefully you guys can see where we're pointing at. The wheel bearing lives right in here, guys. And as you turn this tire around, the wheel bearing, if it's bad, the bearings inside of there will make some noise. And that's where this comes into play, guys. That's where we get to use our little mechanic stethoscope. And you can put that on your ears and stick the other end up here. I like to put it on one of the bolts that holds the wheel bearing in place, and then turn the wheel. You see, I'm turning the wheel and I'm listening. What I'm listening for is crunchiness or grumbliness inside of there. If that wheel bearing's bad, you'll hear it sort of sound as you turn the wheel while listening. Now, you guys may not have one of these fancy stethoscopes, but I bet you got a really long screwdriver like this, and it'll work just the same. Let me show you. You can put the end of that screwdriver right there on that bearing and put the other end right here to your ear. Look here. You put it right there to your ear. Now, turn that wheel and you can listen through the screwdriver to that wheel bearing. And if that wheel bearing is bad, you'll hear it crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. I didn't hear any of that back here. So let's go check that, or up here. Let's go check that back wheel now. All right, friends. So we checked out that front one. I didn't hear the grumbly crumblies inside of there. So let's check this one out here on the back. So again, we're just underneath the car, and you can do this on jack stands or whatever. You want to put your screwdriver or your mechanic stethoscope on one of them one of those bolts that holds that wheel bearing in place, and then turn that wheel. And I'm hearing a little bit of grumbliness inside of this bearing. Now it's not bad enough. It's not bad enough that I can feel it on the outside as I wiggle the tire. So there's not enough play there, but I sure can hear it in the car, and I'm hearing it as I turn the tire while listening to that bearing. So this is going to be our culprit, the rear passenger side. So I'm going to show you now, how do we replace it? All right, so let's go ahead and start removing the things off the back here that we need to get out of the way so we can get to that wheel bearing and get it out of there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove our brake caliper. We're not going to take the pads off, none of that. We're going to try and, this is the joy of wrenching. We're trying to keep the joy of doing these sort of things. So I want to show you the quickest, easiest way to do these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a screwdriver in here, and I'm going to compress that piston just a little bit. And what that does is it now gives me a little bit of play in that, so that when I can get this caliper out of the way and the pads out of the way, it'll be ready and easy to put it right back on later. In order to get this caliper off, we got 2 bolts that hold it on, 10 millimeter. You just get your 10 millimeter wrench, take those bolts out. There's the bottom one. And there's the top one. Now the next step in getting this caliper out of here is to compress this little keeper spring right here, and then swing the caliper away. You might find that you need a little bit of a pry tool or something like that. So get your handy dandy screwdriver back out. There you go. The caliper is off. Now we might want to, there's not very much stress, so I'm just going to leave that hanging there. But if it bothers you, you can put a bungee cord and hang it up out of the way. But this thing is very lightweight, it's light as a feather. It isn't going to put any stress on that brake line at all. You see now, once we get that caliper out of the way, the rotor can come straight off of here. You don't have to worry about this caliper bracket at all. Now the next thing that we want to try and attack here is going to be the nut that holds the axle to the wheel hub. And as you can see, it's got a little cotter pin in there that holds it in place. So we're going to straighten that cotter pin out. Well, I guess we'll just break it off. That's all right. I think these side cutters work the best. So we'll get us a bite on that, and then we will rotate like this, and it'll pull that thing out just a little bit at a time, just like that. You see how we're working that out of there? All right, there we go. Now that cotter pin's out of there, and you can remove this pretty little keeper here. It's got a little bit of fingers on there that were holding it, so we just had to work it out of there. That comes off just like that, and now we just remove this nut right here. And this nut is a 32 millimeter. And you're going to want to use an impact for this one, guys. Hold your ears, because this one's going to be loud. There we go. Lucky for us, we're in the South where we don't have to deal with rust. But if you got a lot of problems with rust, you want to spray a little bit of penetrating lubrication right inside of there. That way that this CV axle will slide through there nice and easy. So now that we've got that big axle nut off of the front of the CV axle, we need to come back here to the other end of the CV axle where it's attached to our differential, and we need to take off these 6 retaining bolts that hold the CV axle in place, because the CV axle itself has to be removed. These bolts are 17 millimeter, and you want to use an impact again. Now, you see how we got these pretty easy, but we can't really get our tool up inside of here. So what we got to do is just rotate it. All you got to do is rotate it. You can rotate it by hand, or you can turn the tire. You can even turn the tire on the other side. And that just makes it real easy. Okay, let's get the rest of these bolts. Some of those rascals are in there. All right, let's get that last rascal right there. 17 millimeter holding that CV axle to the differential. There we go. And you notice how it doesn't just fall down. Let me show you guys. There's a little bit of a lip right here. There's a little bitty lip right there, and it holds itself into the end of the differential right here on that lip. There we go. All right. So now that we've got this detached from the differential and we've got the big nut off the front of it, we can just slide it out. Now you may have to tap yours out if it's really rusty or crusty in there. But this one, being in the south, it seems to be freed up pretty easily. There we go. There we go. Okay, and you just pull it back, and then you want to come down here between the lower control arms, and you want to just pull it out of the wheel bearing, point it down, and you can snake it out right through here, just like that. There we go. Okay, woo! That was a little bit of work, but you can do it, guys. See, I'm always trying to save you guys time and money, and this is how we do it without taking too many things apart. See, that wasn't so bad. We got that CV axle that's out of our way, freed up a lot of space, and now we can get to the back of that wheel bearing. But before we remove that wheel bearing, it has the analog braking system speed sensor attached to it. And so you're going to want to come over here and pull that speed sensor wiring free of all of its little holders. You want to give it some freedom, and then you want to unplug it. Right here is where it plugs in. So you can get you a little pick or a screwdriver or something like that. Just put it underneath there and pull that apart. Now you'll see that these things are tethered in a couple of different places. You just get your screwdriver, or I got a little trim tool here I like to use. Get underneath it and just kind of give it a little persuasion, a little wiggle, and it'll come right out of there, just like that. There we go. Now that wire is free and it won't get hung up on anything. Now we already took off our brake caliper, and so you can see that this caliper bracket is not in the way of our rotor coming off. And this rotor is a brake disc on the outside and a brake drum for your emergency brakes on the inside. So if this is not coming off very easy, just make sure you don't have your emergency brake on, or else you'd be pulling those brakes apart. We got to our wheel bearing. Without that CV axle in here, you can really hear the crumbly grumblies of that wheel bearing. Let me see if it picks it up. Hear that, guys? That's what we hear when we're driving down the road. And now we're sure that this one is bad, and so we'll go ahead and replace it. You ready, guys? We're going to get this thing out of here. So here is the back of our wheel bearing. It is held in place by these 4 bolts right there. They're 15 millimeter. And so we're going to get in here with our impact again. Now these bolts, those have Loctite on them, so they're going to be a real booger to get out of there if you don't use an impact. Woo! You see that, guys? Look at that. You see that yellow color? That's the Loctite that they use from the factory. Now, anytime you take a fastener apart and you see a colored Loctite on it, make sure you put Loctite back on it when you put it back together. It was meant to have it. There's that one. All right, there we go. That's the last one. Well, we got all the bolts that hold this wheel bearing in place taken loose, but it's not just falling out of place. You can't just pull it and you know, chances are that the one that you pull out of there is going to be pretty in there pretty tight too. So I want to show you again, we're all about keeping the joy in wrenching. So I want to show you the quickest, easiest way I know to get that sucker out of there. So come along, let's see how this goes. We're going to go ahead and go back behind here. Take a look. Here's the back of our wheel bearing right here. Now we've got all of our retaining bolts, the 4 retaining bolts out of the way, and we can strike this back part of the wheel bearing with a hammer and loosen it up, and it might just fall right out. So I'm going to hold the front, I'm going to hold the wheel bearing with my hand back here, and I'm going to whack on it with this little hammer. Look at that, guys. You see there? That wasn't so bad, and it's not going to fall down. Let's go around front and have a look. Okay, so that wheel bearing is now knocked loose. Now look at there. See, there's a little bit of corrosion right there, and that, if you're in a salt state or up north somewhere, that could be really bad and make it real hard for that to come loose. Now, this plate here, this backing plate for the brakes, notice how it's kind of loosey-goosey? That's good because it allows us to take our wire. You can do a couple things here, guys. You can either detach your ABS speed sensor wire right here with this Allen, or you can just take the cord itself, because the new part comes with a whole new cord, and you just bring it back up through there and pull it all the way out. Get it out of your way. Here we go, just like so. Oh, the last little bit there hanging up. Set this down. See how you can pull that plate away, and that plate is hanging right up here. So it's not going to just fall down out of the way, but you can pry it free just a little bit like this, and it gives you just enough room to get that wire out from back behind here where my finger is. So here's our offending wheel bearing right here, guys. Oh, you can really hear that clickety-clackety inside of there. And so we've got our replacement here from Moog. I like to use Moog parts, very high quality stuff. You don't want to have to do this twice. And as I mentioned, it comes with a new ABS sensor wire. You just want to make sure that the mounting points, the diameter of everything looks the same. Make sure that your lugs line up. Everything looks the same here. So we're ready to go ahead and put this new part in. So here's where our wheel bearing mates up to the hub. Notice how we got a lot of corrosion and nastiness right there? We're going to use our old friend wire brush. So we're going to get as much of that off of there as possible, so that the new wheel bearing will slide in nice and easy. After we do the wire brush, I like to get a little bit of sandpaper. Just go in there and get all of those rough edges, get all that rust out of the way, so we get a nice, clean, new, smooth mating surface. Now we got that nice and cleaned up, I'm going to put a light coat of some wheel bearing grease right inside on that surface. This is also going to help our new one slide in place just a little bit easier. And again, you just want to keep the joy in this wrenching. And a little lube goes a long way. All right, now we're ready to put our new wheel bearing in place. And again, it comes with its own ABS wire. So comes, looky here. And all you got to do to put that wire back where it goes is just to pull forward on this backing plate a little bit. And that'll give you enough room to stick the connector through this side right here and all the little connections. And you just keep fishing that through just like this until it's all through there and ready to go back in place. Well, one more little connector. There we go. And now that wire is all the way through there, you see this, guys? Look right here. See where it goes through? Now we can take our wheel bearing, kind of line up our holes, and just set it up in place. Just like that. All right. Now, we're going to have to go around back and get us a bolt started into that wheel bearing. Okay, so I've got the wheel bearing bolt started in place by hand on the back, and I did a sort of a crisscross applesauce thing. I did one up top in one corner, I did the other one down in the other corner. I just got them finger tight for right now. Now, before we go too far, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our ABS wire is not trapped up inside of here somehow. You want to make sure that it goes and you can put it right back to where the original came out of. And you see how they've got these handy little holders for everything. Keeps everything nice and safe. Doesn't allow it to get caught on anything while you're driving around. Just make sure that you put all of those holders back together, and then you want to plug it back in, just like so. And then you see those little holes right there, that's where it snaps in. You want to hear that satisfying click. And then the final piece of this puzzle is going to be this one right here, which pushes into that little hole. Click. Good job. So now we're ready to tighten up our bolts that hold the wheel bearing to the hub here. They're 15 millimeter, and these get tightened to 110 foot-pounds, but we're just going to snug them up for right now with the impact. You want to do a crisscross applesauce pattern on this, okay guys? All right, now we're ready to torque these wheel bearing retention bolts. It gets torqued to 110 foot-pounds. Whew, it's quite a bit. Hope you ate your Wheaties today. Just putting a little bit of wheel bearing grease on the splines of these CV axles. That just helps it to slide in place, keeps it from rusting in place, keeps it from corroding, and you're doing the next guy solid. Help the brother out that comes after you. And now we can put our CV axle back in place, so come see where we gotta put it back through. So it's gotta come from down here, and you can go ahead and set the snout into the new wheel bearing, and then push it. It's gonna make almost like a 90-degree angle before it wants to slide up into place. Just like that. There we go. All right, now we can straighten it out, and you want to rotate it just a little bit, and it'll engage the spline. Engage the splines, and it'll slide home. And then you take your other end here with this little bit of lip, and you just slide it up into place, and then pull it towards the differential. And go ahead and you want to put one of your bolts in to hold it in place. And I put a little bit of Loctite on here, even though it didn't have it on from the factory. It ain't gonna hurt it to keep just a little bit of blue Loctite, just to keep it from ever coming undone. And we can tighten this up. These are 17 millimeter, just like that. Just get her started. Okay, just a little bit, just so it holds in place. Then we can go ahead and get the rest of these bolts started. I always like to start my fasteners by hand. I don't want to ever cross thread anything. You don't want to make more work for yourself than necessary, that's for sure. Go ahead and snug these up a little bit. You don't want to tighten these yet. We'll torque these things down here when we're done. And these get torqued to 87 foot-pounds. Well, we finally did it. We got our new wheel bearing in place, and we've got our CV axle back in place. We've got the other end of the CV axle connected to the differential, but now we need to secure this side of our CV axle to our wheel bearing. And it's held on with this big nut again, and that's a 32 millimeter. So let's get that thing started on there. And this one gets torqued to 170 foot-pounds, which is quite a lot. So now that we've got that nut torqued to 170 foot-pounds, we can put our little retainer on here, and then you want to get you a new cotter pin, slide it through the hole there, and then you want to bend those ears of that cotter pin around so that it won't be able to come out. You don't want this thing to come loose down the road. Your wheel could fall off. The wheel bearing is attached. ABS wiring is safe and sound. And next step is to put our rotor back in place. It sure was nice of the engineers at Nissan to make it so that we didn't even have to take this caliper bracket off to get that rotor on and off. Okay, so we're ready to put our caliper back in place. Now remember, we wedged this apart just a little bit so that the space between our pads, which stay as part of this caliper, is wider than our rotor thickness. That makes it go on so much easier. So all you got to do is put the bottom on like so, and you see how these little teeth on the bottom of the brake pad fit right there on top of this slide point right there. Okay, and then just push the top and it'll snap in place just like that. And then we're going to use our two 10mm retaining bolts coming through the back right here. You might have to wiggle back and forth a little bit until it grabs hold, but you'll feel it, and I felt it grab. I'm going to do these up by hand again, just like every fastener. Get them started by hand. This one here may be a little bit, may need a little bit more wiggle. There we go. Got her started. Okay, and we're ready to tighten those 10mm bolts. Those things probably don't get torqued very hard, maybe 20 foot-pounds at the most, I would guess. So there you have it, guys. That's how easy and how fun it can be to replace a wheel bearing on the back of one of these Nissan Armadas or Infinity QX80 or Nissan Patrol for my friends across the pond. Now, we got to go out and see if that fixed that rumbly grumbly noise, if it went away. So come along and let's get out on the road and see if we still hear that noise. All right, let's see if our repair was successful, guys. Remember, we don't hear that noise, or we didn't before, till we got about 45, 50 mile an hour. Okay, there's 50. Nice and quiet. Just keep on going up a little bit further. Again, we're on a closed course, nothing to worry about here. 60. No problem. Well, I'm going to say that's a confirmed fix. Good, good, good. So there we have it, friends. No more rumbly grumbly sound coming from that wheel bearing. Nice quiet ride once again. And as I showed you, all those tips and tricks that you learned from this video, they're going to save you time and they're going to save you money. And if I helped you out in some way, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. It really helps us to reach a greater audience. I sure appreciate you guys tuning in and finding us today. Y'all have a wonderful day, and God bless.